Hey everyone, it's me again. Just trying to get this damn game to work. I spent a considerable amount of time trying to play this thing. It's Mortal Kombat, also known as Mortal Kombat 9, through RPCS3, the PlayStation emulator for Windows and Linux. Basically, you can see by this long hang time, it's not going great. My first clue should have been by the fact that their compatibility list has a orange dot on this thing. Like, it's in game, but it's not fully supported yet. That should have been clue number one, but I didn't pay attention to that clue. And the reason why is because at some point I remember playing this game relatively smoothly, but for whatever reason today it just didn't go that well. And I spent just a lot of time tinkering with this thing. And as you can see, we're still in that black window, just waiting for the title screen to load. And it eventually will after like a minute, but on actual hardware, it loads within like a second of the previous splash screen. So that's weird. Finally, it loaded to the title screen, but then it just starts acting wonky. It doesn't detect my controller. Like, it just, a whole bunch of weirdness happens. And I thought it was just due to an update that this thing took, because I am on the latest nightly build. And every time I launch this thing, it wants to update itself, which is great. But for some reason, it just plays like poop. So I was going online, looking for settings to change, this, that, and the other. Just, you know, trying to everything I could to make this thing run right. And a lot of this footage is just me tinkering with the settings and then loading it back up, trying it out, seeing what happens. And this goes on. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but for about 18 minutes, this recording is 18 minutes long of me trying to get this thing to work. And I'll skip to the end as to what actually made it work great. So a whole lot of these screens, every time you change a setting and reload the game, you have to let it build the modules, or sometimes build the cache for the game. Basically, I think that's what the PlayStation 3 does whenever it tells you it's installing the game, even though you've got the disc in the tray already. But yeah, lots of loading screens, followed by real crap gameplay. And then you'd have stuff like this, when the game would go to load, and then you get it like a black screen for no reason, or the game would just crash. Again, for no reason. And the reason why I kept trying to play this is because I do remember this game playing relatively well on PC. And again, we will get to why that is in just a few minutes. Spoiler alert, I think it has something to do with Windows 11. So this is about as good as I got it to work. And it's not bad, but there are better ways. And we're about to get to that in just a second. So here's the beginning of that better experience. Just kind of check this out. Now, upon playback here, I do see kind of a glow around everything, but that's because the way I recorded this, Adobe Premiere didn't like the codec, so I had to like re-encode my encode. So you can ignore the little silhouette around the people. Needless to say, this loads it better, quicker. Everything runs smooth. Take a look at this. Look at everything pop in. This is the old way. Look, missing textures, missing everything. It played like crap. And now this is the new stuff. Now, I will have to tweak it a little bit because I think the other one had better color. This one looks a little bit washed out. But just look at it. Nothing pops in, nothing pops out. Everything just loads right in. The gameplay is just fine. Nothing like what I had before. Now, this is why I think it was a Windows thing. Because what you don't know is that I've switched over to running this thing on Linux. I had this thing in Windows and it played like crap. I had the Xbox 360 version in Windows and it played like crap too, and I'll show you that. It wasn't until I switched over to the Penguin and just left everything alone, stock settings, that this game runs as well as it's running right now. So long story short, I don't know what to conclude from this other than the Penguin does it better. But now I can finally play this game. I've got Mortal Kombat 10 on Steam that I could be playing, but Nightwolf is not in it. I want to learn how to play as Nightwolf. That was the whole reason why this video came about. was just me trying to play this game. And like I said, I remember it playing really well once before, and I couldn't remember how. So that was how. I just booted back into the Penguin, and this is how it's going. In retrospect, I should have guessed that this would have played better. Well, that anything would have played better under the Penguin. Because when I went to the RPCS3 website, and I went to like the wiki and their forums, their screenshots were actually of an Ubuntu system, or something using GNOME in the Linux world. And I'll throw that picture up here. So that should have been giveaway number 1 and 2. But yeah, this thing just plays so much better here. Before, in the Xbox 360 version, you can see stuttering, you can see things missing, game freezing up in general. And then on the Windows version of the PS3 version, same thing, just total crap fest. Things loading in. The train that comes by was completely missing, although you can see the shadow of it on the ground. And so, like I said, this thing just runs so much better. And I think I know why the textures look better in the Xbox version. It's because I think I went in and I turned on the shader compilation, and I turned on some anisotropic filtering and some other settings. This is all stock settings for the Penguin version. So I'm gonna make yet another video of me playing with it with tweaked out settings just to see what I can get. Because so far this has been the best way. So had I just rebooted my computer and just played it in Linux from the get-go, everything would have been fine.